Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a modality, and a platform where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business, and common sense to rapid lifestyle transformation. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a big video for you today. But first, I invite you, as always, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Not only will you join a community of master manifestors and get alerts to all of our videos, in which we make daily long-form videos, ladies and gentlemen. Daily long-form videos. That's my commitment to my subscribers. In addition to that, you'll also be supporting our work, which is getting this message out to as many people as possible. In order to do that, we have to get the algorithm more in our favor. And the more subscribers we have, the easier it is to capture that algorithm and expose this information to more people, playing our small role in the global awakening of consciousness that is happening now. I think you'll agree that the times call for that, ladies and gentlemen. So please hit the subscribe button below, and I will give you a second to do that. Thank you so much for subscribing. So, ladies and gentlemen, last night I released a very long video. It's very long for this channel. It was about 50-something minutes that I believe is important for everyone, all of us, to review, to return to, because what I did was I established the principles of self-soothing, which is the first step to getting in the vibration of what you want. And it makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to get out of negative situations. And the more accelerated the vibration is of the society, as it is accelerating now, the more often people who don't know much about this material will find themselves in negative situations. The more often people who are just getting started in this material, even master manifestors from time to time, will find themselves in difficult situations. It behooves us to learn how to soothe ourselves, learn how to get into a positive vibration very quickly so that we can pivot. But I knew yesterday that this video is going to be too long for most people. In fact, most people are not even going to watch the video because of the time. Therefore, what we're going to do over the next few days is segment that video into 3 different parts. It's going to be the introduction, the theory, and the readings from the books of the great Stoics and philosophers that I went into in that video, and finally, the implementation phase or the practice phase. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be releasing the practice phase of that video first, where I go in and demonstrate to you how to soothe yourself. You can take this video as a guide, you can use it immediately, and you can start to apply it right now, this very night, to self-soothing and to starting getting yourself in that positive vibration. I promise you it's going to be fast, it's going to work, you're going to be able to adapt it, and I want you to give me your testimonials in the comments below. So, without further ado, I am going to present now the practical phase of that video. The practical phase of that video, the art of self-soothing. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you practice, and I hope you return to it many times. Now what are we going to do? We're going to turn our mind to the light for just a few minutes. I'm going to show you a process by which you can get out of any negative emotion to positive emotion, and do this before you start trying to make things better on the ground. And it's very quick. It could be from 10 to 30 minutes. We're not going to take that long, but follow the process, and I promise you'll have results. And I promised this client that he would have results. So we're going to take the point of view, and many of you won't be in this extreme situation. We're going to take the point of view that you're about to lose your house and you may become homeless. It's a very scary situation. We don't minimize it in the least. But what we want to do is show you the power of actually, first of all, accepting it, then releasing it. So, first I want you to get in an alpha state. We're going to be doing this throughout the exercise. You want to get back into it. You're going to feel some negative emotion in this exercise, But we want to show you how easy it is to get into alpha states. The fastest way that I see to do it that I usually do it myself is to look up onto the horizon and just count from 5 down. 5, 4, 3, I'm getting into alpha right now. 2, and 1. Thank you. Thank you, Father. So now, what am I fearing? You can either write this down or you can just think it to yourself. You can contemplate it. What's the worst that can happen? Because it's within me anyway. And now that I'm sort of observing my feelings, I know that those feelings aren't me. Let's just feel the feelings. Okay, I'm about to lose my house. I fear that that's really reality. I've been given 10 days notice to leave, and I have nowhere else to go. I could also lose my job. So what's the worst that can happen? It's pretty much the worst that could happen to anybody. I could be homeless and on the street. So I'm starting to feel just worry. I'm starting to feel even extreme anxiety. I don't know what I would do about that. In fact, my thoughts are going crazy right now. So okay. So what's actually the worst that could happen? The worst is happening right now. It's this feeling. So can I just look at this feeling? Can I observe it? And not judge it? It's just a feeling. So yeah, I think I'd probably feel this way if I were living in the streets. And I'd have to sleep out there, and there are all kinds of crazy people, not to mention the shame and embarrassment of society and my family and so on and so forth. But you know what? This feeling it's a physical feeling, and you know what? It feels pretty bad, but I can handle it. Now, if you'll observe this feeling for about a minute, about 60 seconds is what science has said. If you observe it and you stop thinking, and if you completely observe it, you can stop thinking, that feeling will go away within 60 to 90 seconds. And even if it doesn't, you can come back to this later, and we're going to be softening this up. So once you start see the feeling recede, try to get back into the alpha state. Okay, I'm going back into alpha. So, okay, that's the worst case scenario. Is there anything that I can do to soften that worst case scenario? And then you write those. You say, okay, this is going to sound pathetic to many people, but this is actually the way you do this. You can say, you know what? First of all, I'm going to have a little bit of a paycheck from my job, even if they fire me and even if I am on the street. And I'm not going to pay rent this month because they're kicking me out. So if I'm a homeless person, I'm going to have some money. I'll have some money to eat. And I could perhaps purchase a tent. I know a place where I think I could pitch that tent and be relatively safe. And I could purchase a sleeping bag. And even though this is still horrible, you're sort of giving yourself back power because you're giving yourself options. Okay? And you can do this with any situation that you're facing. Start planning that and journaling that. Soften the worst case scenario. Then you say, okay, you know what? Because living in a room, even a horrible room, a very small room that's listed on the internet, it is going to be better than being homeless, and perhaps I could do that. And even if I can't get another job in my field, I can get a menial job. I could get a job at Subway just to help ends meet. And I can go and find a room for much cheaper. And you know what? I can survive that way, and that's a hell of a lot better than being homeless. Then I might have some other options. In my free time, I can think of other ways to get back into the field in which I was out of. So now you're starting to attain a sort of momentum. Then you can start, and of course this is going to be trial and error, and this might take a little bit longer time. But then you can start thinking of basically general things that have been good in your life. Well, I've had this job for a while, and it's actually not been that bad. And I've been taken care of for all of my life. And it's sort of silly, even though the evidence is there to prove otherwise, it's sort of silly to think that God has taken care of me all these years, and that yet He's not going to take care of me later. Maybe there's something that could come out of this that could actually help me out, that could actually, looking back on it, be better, or get me on a better trajectory. Then you start journaling that. Then you just get back in the now. You get back into alpha. Then you say, you know what? Right this second, I've planned all that I could plan. And my rational mind has done everything that it could do. Could I perhaps just give myself tonight, because they're not kicking me out tonight, and I still have to go to work tomorrow. I might be fired, but can I just take the rest of the night and sort of treat myself and sort of just try to abide in contentment, try to abide in the now? Well, things aren't that bad right now. Actually, things are pretty good right this second. And as Marcus Aurelius and all the greats said, and Javier says, and is even proved in physics, that no time exists other than the now. So can I just abide in the now? I've thought about that other stuff. I've made plans. I've done everything humanly possible right now. And I'm a really good person. I've got this, and I've been applying this, and what, things aren't as bad as they could have been if I didn't know anything about this, and I'm actually feeling pretty good right now. So, you know what? I'm going to order a pizza, and I'm going to enjoy it because I still have some money for food, and I'm going to let whatever happens tomorrow happen tomorrow and just chill out, eat the pizza, and relax. And you know what? You already feel a lot better doing that. Of course, for those who are even more dire straits and can't do this, there's a solution to that too, which may sound pathetic to some, but this is actually scientifically proven. You can imagine yourself eating a good meal, and scientists have proven through experiments that people feel less hungry when they do that. But you have to actually get into it intensely and imagine yourself having a good meal. If you can't have a good meal, imagine yourself having a good meal. I promise you can do it. But if that gives you negative emotion because you can't have it, then just forget about that and just be completely in the now. But if you have money for a good meal, have a good meal. Give yourself a good meal. And be completely and totally present in that. Put on some good music and be completely and totally present. Now perhaps you can sleep, okay? And either the next time that you have some minutes to do this, you might have to repeat the process again. Or if you can do it after your meal or even after the process, start journaling. Start saying, you know what? I've got my wits about me now. Is there anything actually that I could do to soften this even more? You can say, I haven't thought about this before. Why don't I right now start looking for jobs on the internet in my field and start sending my resumes this very night? I've got nothing to lose. Do that, and I promise you, some opportunity, whether from your job or from another aspect, will come to you. You can also say, well, I do have some good friends, and this is going to sort of be embarrassing, but then feel the embarrassment, by the way. If you are afraid of embarrassment, because a lot of people are, feel the embarrassment, and then say, this is the worst that can happen. It's happening right now, and it's just a feeling, and I can just let it go through me. And then, even if you feel the embarrassment, say, you know what, I'm going to call some friends and tell them that I might be in dire straits, and ask them if just for a few nights I could stay in their house if I lose my apartment until I make ends meet. You have to gauge this on whether you think these people will allow you to, and so on and so forth. But you see, as you rise out of this negative emotion, you start coming up with constructive ideas that may help you get out of it. Now, when you've done this, you're going to feel a sense of relief. You're going to feel a sense of peace, although you will still have some anxiety, and that's fine. But you're not in despair anymore. You're not in fear. Here's where the fun stuff happens. Now you can flip it around. Now you say, what if wild success happened out of this? What would be the best thing that happened out of this? You can start journaling. Well, I keep my job for another few months, or forever maybe. I keep my apartment. Now I've taken these lessons that I've learned and I'm going to be prepared for that. I can now start setting aside some money. But what's even better than that? I start pursuing my passion and I get finance to pursue that passion. And I'm now independent of work. Of course, the best thing that can happen is completely up to you, and you have to journal about that. We go into that on this channel. And then you can start imagining scenes. Just daydream. Allow yourself to daydream. Now you're imagining living your best life right now. And I promise you, within one night you can get from absolute despair to imagining yourself living your best life. And now you have safeguards in place for when and if the worst does happen. You now have a plan to get out of that. This is the general tenor of how you give yourself relief. This is the general tenor of how you console yourself. There's a lot more to it. But if you do this, I promise you, you will get out of the quicksand and things will start happening in your life to symbolize that and to show you the work that you've done. Well, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for commenting on the videos. Thank you for sharing the videos. And most of all, thanks for subscribing and joining our community of Master Manifestors. I am doing coaching calls. I do them every day and they're taking off. They're a very valuable modality. And of course, we have email coaching for those with smaller budgets and who just want to ask me questions in that format. So I will put my email, as always, in the description to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, the real Javier Novoa is going on the road tomorrow. We're going back to our second home, our second studio in the great Galveston, Texas. I will be launching videos from there. It's going to be a working vacation, and we will be updating you from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, with great love and appreciation, this is Javier with the real Javier Novoa signing off, bidding you adieu with much love and appreciation. I'll see you soon.